Well, folks, the early morning peace of a New Jersey town got a wake-up call on March 2nd, 2025. ICE agents swooped down on a local warehouse like a hawk on a field mouse, aiming to round up some South American gang members. This raid was just one of many in a series of ICE operations across New York City in early 2025, and boy, did it result in a heap of arrests. These actions highlight the legal consequences for those gang members trying to hide out in the good old US of A. Now these fellas face a legal process more tangled than a catfish in a fishing net. The community's got their eyes peeled as the legal system decides the fate of these gang members. But don't think this is just a Jersey thing. It's part of a bigger effort to clean up the streets across New York City. The stories of those detained, especially the gang members, give us a peek into the human side of these raids. While enforcing immigration laws is necessary, it's important to do it with a bit of compassion and fairness, y'all. Witnesses described a scene of chaos as ICE agents swarmed the warehouse. Their faces grim, their intentions clear. The workers inside, many of whom were undocumented immigrants, were caught completely off guard. Families were torn apart in an instant, leaving children to wonder when they would see their parents again. Maria, a single mother of two who had immigrated from Ecuador years ago, was one of those detained. Her only goal was to provide a better life for her children. Now, her fate hangs in the balance, her absence leaving a gaping hole in the lives of her young children. The raid sent shockwaves through the community, leaving many residents feeling vulnerable and afraid. The warehouse, once a place of honest work, now stood as a symbol of the legal consequences of illegal immigration. The impact of this raid extends far beyond those directly affected, highlighting the necessity of enforcing immigration laws. The human cost of this raid extends to the law enforcement officers on the front lines. The risks and challenges they face are immense, from physical danger to emotional strain. Officers often encounter highly emotional and volatile situations, requiring both strength and compassion. The emotional toll on law enforcement is significant, as they navigate the complexities of their duties. Balancing their professional responsibilities with personal lives adds another layer of stress. The mental health of officers is a critical concern, with support systems in place to help them cope. The burden of their role, the weight of their decisions, these are challenges that law enforcement officers face daily. The debate about the role of local law enforcement in immigration enforcement continues to evolve. The New York for All Act, recently reintroduced in the state legislature, seeks to redefine the collaboration between ICE and local police, aiming to address the challenges faced by law enforcement while rebuilding trust with immigrant communities. The New York for All Act stands as a beacon of hope for many immigrant communities in New York City. The act, if passed, would prohibit local law enforcement from inquiring about immigration status or participating in ICE raids, unless required by a judicial warrant or in cases involving serious crimes. Proponents of the act argue that it is crucial for rebuilding trust between immigrant communities and law enforcement. They believe that collaboration with ICE only serves to create fear and distrust, making communities less safe. Opponents, however, argue that the act would hinder law enforcement's ability to enforce the law and keep communities safe. The act poses significant challenges to immigration control, as it limits the cooperation between local law enforcement and federal immigration authorities. Critics argue that this could lead to an increase in illegal immigration and make it harder to address immigration violations effectively. While addressing illegal immigration poses significant challenges, it is essential to balance enforcement with compassion and legal fairness.
Good evening, folks. This is your Southern correspondent bringing you the latest on ICE operations. The recent raid in New Jersey ain't just a one-off event. It's part of a larger wave of increased ICE activity right here in New York City and across the country. Since January 2025, there's been a notable uptick in ICE operations, with over 100 immigrants arrested in the Big Apple alone. ICE is using all sorts of tactics, from increased surveillance to undercover operations to catch illegal immigrants. They're employing advanced technology like drones and data analysis to track and locate individuals. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, a vocal critic of ICE's methods, is demanding more transparency and accountability from the agency. We can't let ICE operate in the shadows, he says. They must be held accountable for their actions. While illegal immigration is a big issue, it's important to acknowledge the legal pathways and the efforts of those who follow them.
The challenges faced by law enforcement in accessing certain areas are immense. Many detention centers are located far from urban areas, making it difficult for ICE agents to coordinate operations and access necessary resources. Legal aid organizations, already stretched thin, are also facing significant challenges in providing support due to these remote locations. The dispersed locations of detention centers, coupled with limited access to facilities and a lack of translation services, make it incredibly difficult for both law enforcement and legal representatives to perform their duties effectively. The Legal Aid Society recently filed a lawsuit challenging ICE's denial of access to the Moshannon Valley Processing Center in Pennsylvania, highlighting the legal battles faced by both sides. The lawsuit argues that ICE's actions violate the detainees' constitutional rights to due process and access to counsel, underscoring the ongoing legal struggles in these complex situations. Amidst the challenges, there are stories of successful law enforcement operations that have led to positive outcomes. These operations have resulted in the apprehension of individuals involved in criminal activities, the seizure of illegal contraband, and the enhancement of community safety. These efforts have brought a sense of security to families and have been recognized for their effectiveness. The collaboration between law enforcement and the community has been crucial in planning and executing these operations successfully. Community leaders have praised these efforts, highlighting the positive impact on public safety and awareness. These stories are a testament to the dedication and hard work of law enforcement officers. They remind us that through collaboration and determination, we can achieve safer communities, and that we are stronger when we work together for a common goal. The recent ICE raid in New Jersey underscores the complex and contentious issue of illegal immigration in the United States. This issue has polarized the nation, with some advocating for compassion and a pathway to citizenship, while others call for stricter enforcement and secure borders. Supporters of law enforcement argue that strict immigration laws and their enforcement are essential for national security and the rule of law. They believe that a robust legal framework is necessary to manage immigration effectively and ensure that those who enter the country do so legally. On the other hand, New York City has shown an outpouring of support and solidarity for its immigrant communities. The fight for immigrant rights is not just a fight for those who are directly affected. It is a fight for the soul of our nation, a fight for the values of compassion, justice, and equality that define us as Americans. The debate over illegal immigration is complex and multifaceted. The recent ICE raid in New Jersey highlights the ongoing enforcement of immigration laws, but it also underscores the need for a balanced approach. We must strive for comprehensive immigration reform that provides a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants, keeps families together, and upholds the dignity of all. At the same time, we must ensure that our laws are respected and enforced. We must hold our elected officials accountable for their actions and demand that they prioritize humane and just immigration policies. We must support organizations working tirelessly to defend the rights of immigrants and provide them with the resources they need. And we must never stop sharing the stories of immigrants, stories that remind us of our shared humanity and the strength that comes from unity and compassion. The road ahead may be long and arduous, but we cannot afford to lose hope. We must continue to fight for a future where every person, regardless of their immigration status, is treated with dignity and respect. We must continue to fight for a future where families are not torn apart, where communities are not living in fear, and where the American dream remains within reach for all, while respecting the rule of law. The ongoing efforts of law enforcement to control illegal immigration are crucial. These actions uphold the legal and societal benefits of a regulated immigration system, ensuring safety and order for all.